One of the highlights in the book is in the last half, China scientists realize that they have the equipment to help save Mark that the Americans do not have access to. This was private information. They could have kept it to themselves. Instead, they let the Americans know, and they made a Chinese and American scientists and public officials work together, combine their resources in order to save Mark. One man, one American, stuck 23 light minutes away on Mars. I thought that was one of the most amazing parts of the book. On the way to his retrieval point, Mark encounters a dust storm. He has no way to communicate with NASA. He has no idea where it's going and how big it is. He could just continue driving and hoping for the best. He could have turned around. Instead, he sat, he thought things through, and he came up with a plan to figure out which direction the storm was going. This might not be the first time that Mark encountered troubles that could threaten his life, but this stood out to me because a dust storm is such a big natural occurrence that he could not control, but he still didn't give up, went days out of his way, thought out of the box, whatever he could do to save his life and not waste his crew members' time. One of the novels that we have discussed throughout the course is The Courageous Follower. It talks about all of the qualities that make a good follower. One of them is knowing when to disobey and when to disagree with authority. The following example from the book really reminds me of that. The crew members of Ares 3 decided to go against the orders of NASA, turn Hermes around, and go back to Mars to save Mark. They knew that morally, ethically, this was the right thing to do. They also knew that they had the resources to do it. Even though they went against authority, in the end, it was the right thing to do. After reading this novel, I knew immediately that I wanted to connect Mark's story to the concept of a crucible moment in leadership. Although Mark may not have been leading anybody but himself during his time on Mars, he went through an extreme crucible that grew him as a person and as a leader. Through his experience and his time on Mars, Mark really learned when to kick somebody in the butt, when to be empathetic, when to give them a break. All of these he may have learned with himself, but I think that it's going to be able to be applied in his later leadership experience on Earth.
Created using Powtoon.